Sori.
That's Lavi.
And Salty and Chip.
Getting really, really used to that flow, man.
Yeah, we're getting it.
Getting really used to Lavi.
Pantera today, guys.
Pantera.
Floods.
Not Metallica Monday.
Nope.
Pantera.
Nope.
Pantera Monday.
We've said it once. We'll say it again.
Pantera Monday.
You can never predict what we're going to do.
Listen,
so
Pantera Monday starts with a P, but the P is silent. So it's Pantera Monday. Pmonday, but the P is silent.
Oh.
Shrunk! Okay. Pantera, Floods. This is, never heard this song, but apparently it's supposed to be good. To all our new listeners, I'm aware of Phil Anselmo's racial issues or whatever. I haven't spoken to the big homie. I'd be willing to. But, you know, I think people are more than the mistakes they make. And if you know anything about this channel, the race issue is a very real issue to me, but it's not the unpardonable sin. So, A, I don't know if he really is a racist, and B, even if he is, that wouldn't change anything as far as how I operate personally. Hanging around right now in Maine, if you're sensitive to racism and that's a be-all, end-all, you won't be able to talk to many people. Not any people, many people. Okay, so...
If you're overly sensitive, we'd have never got married. Because you wouldn't have taken the chance to teach me. Right?
Probably true. Okay, here we go. Pantera, Floods.
Okay.
Let's make it happen. Let's do it.
Go.
Boop. Ominous. Ominous.
Oh, guilty
Okay, wow. You know what I want to hear? I want to hear that guy go all out with his voice. Like,
Phil Anselmo?
whoever it is that's singing.
That's Phil
Yep.
Anselmo.
And the guy that's hitting that drum, or girl, I'm assuming it's a guy, where just hit that thing. Yes. Yes.
He's a bad motherfucker. That was, I was...
That has got to be a really good feeling.
I was fighting really, really hard not to, like, descend into sadness and moody.
Really?
And moody. Well...
Oh, I wasn't catching the lyrics.
Well, no, it's not the lyrics. It's the fact that both of these guys are dead. The guitarist and the
drummer.
The drummer. That's Pantera. So already got shot and all that.
Shoot.
I was trying really hard not to like fall into that, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
Whoa.
I'm gonna appreciate these guys for what they did and who they were. You know.
Wow.
In that moment in time. But that guy was...
Wow.
They were so fucking gifted, man.
Yeah. Yep.
So gifted on the guitar, man.
Yep.
So gifted. So many... I mean, he did the nice, pretty acoustic shit. Very beautiful. And the solo was beautiful and was starting to get heavy.
Yes. It's very heavy.
Like...
Very, very well done. That's...
It's tough. It's tough to think that it's just tough. But you know what? At the same time, you know, they got to do it. They got to. There's a lot of people that have a lot of talent that never get
to be able to put it out there, and then it's on record, you know, so people have it.
You know, and then here we are. You know, they did this shit in '96. Here we are, 22 years later, at 2018.
That's crazy.
Finally listening to it, and it fucking blows most of the shit that is out right now out of the water. So it's like, how can you feel sorry for them? You know?
That's unbelievable.
So, really gifted guys. Good for them.
Definitely. What were you thinking about?
It looks to me about like just how fucked up human beings are.
I kind of got that with... And then the flood comes.
The desire for just get rid of everybody. You know, that type of...
Silence it all like the winter snow.
Misanthropic solution. Which seems to be, you know, a theme among...
I keep thinking about when you said, like, people are horrified that God flooded the earth. But then they're like...
There's this misanthropic strain in metal where you hate mankind.
And everybody's like, that's the only solution.
Yeah.
He said he's not going to do it again, though, so
but
next time.
Yeah, the outro, like the ending instrumental, there's a lot of ways you can take that. Like, you can take the beginning, because it starts with a beginning instrumental, and then it ends that way, so it's kind of like, okay, the beginning instrumental was like the way the world was before mankind entered, then all that shit in the middle was mankind, and then it's and then at the end it's peaceful again, because everybody's gone.
Oh, no. I didn't realize that. Yikes, okay. Wow.
Like, it seems like that's the structure of the song. Like,
yeah, I think I heard him say die at the end or something like that. Did you hear that?
I mean, I don't know.
After it said flood, then there was one part I was like, did I just hear him say die?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. But it's kind of like, that seems to be the structure. Like, everything was peaceful before you motherfuckers showed up. Then all this shit
blew it
happens.
for everybody.
And then he's describing how terrible man is. And then what happens is like, the guitars get heavy, and you're just imagining all the floods happening.
Yikes.
And the sonically, it sounds like a flood.
Oh, yeah.
Hitting the levee, and then boom. And then afterward, it's very, very, very peaceful afterward, because it's
One
like
of these
you're
times,
gone.
I want us to break down the lyrics before we listen to the song. Because I want to experience the song lyrically sometime. Because I never get to. It's always like, oh, you know? Most times I don't.
Yeah.
But... the part at the end, I need to know, why do you scroll up and down?
I don't know.
I feel like I'm going to have a seizure or something.
It's because I'm bored, because I've already seen...
It's like up, down, up, down.
I've already read all the lyrics there.
Yeah,
so
you're bored?
I just get bored.
Okay,
you takes you a very long time to read.
Yes, and to process it. Yeah. Yes, it does.
Okay, so go ahead.
I'm not as smart as my sister. She's a fast reader. Okay, anyway.
And this, brothers, is a trap. I'm just helping y'all out. Anytime your girl says something like this, just stay quiet or say, no, that's not true.
No, it wasn't a trap at all.
Yeah. she may not know that it was a trap, but it was still a trap. Believe you me, if I would have agreed with her, no coming back from that. That's a bonus, y'all. Don't even have to be on Patreon to get that bonus. Continue.
Wow. Okay.
There's going to be a lot of SJWs riding to your rescue, don't worry.
Thank you.
A lot of white knights.
Thank you. At night, they might bait the pentagram, extinguishing the sun. I didn't understand that.
A pentagram is a sign of the devil. You know, it's like the circle with
They're
the star.
They're gonna bait him? Bait it?
They're gonna tempt the devil. You're gonna tempt fate. You're gonna do all this evil shit.
Oh, and then it extinguishes the...
Basically open the portal for the devil to come in and fuck shit up.
Yep, that makes sense.
You know?
Wow.
There's a lot of... I talk to my atheist friends sometimes, and I'm surprised this hasn't come up more, but... Enuma Elish, what's his name? The big homie. Gilgamesh, Epic of Gilgamesh. There's like a lot of ancient Near Eastern flood myths, narratives, whatever you want to say.
Yep.
It's always curious to me, like, people point to that and say, this shows that the flood didn't happen.
Yeah.
There's a I'm like, oh, let me get this straight. The preponderance of ancient Near Eastern
I know.
cultures that say that there's a flood narrative, and the global, I mean, China has a flood narrative.
Yeah.
Ancient China has a flood narrative.
So why is it
That proves that there's never been a flood.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how that works.
Yeah, it was interesting because I remember years ago somebody had brought that up to me, and then I said to you, I was like, oh my gosh, there's a whole flood story like outside of the Bible. You're like, yeah? And I'm like, yeah, like that's a problem. And you're like, why is that a problem? And then I was like, I don't know. I don't remember what I said, but like I remember thinking, oh my gosh, because I know why, because it made it. I felt like because they said that was writing that was earlier than the Bible, so then it looked like the Bible just took that information and like changed the story.
Sure.
But if it was an actual event, then you got to know there's going to be other places that are going to have this written out. It affected more people, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So that's actually one for us.
Well,
try though.
Well, it's just interesting when you think about like whatever you want to believe, the evidence is going to confirm or deny what you want to believe anyway in the first place. So like if you don't believe there's a flood, right? And if you're like dead set against the idea that there is a global flood, when you see, ancient Near Eastern texts that say it, you're gonna say, "Oh,
proof.
This proves that there wasn't a flood."
Yeah, but
then if there was no evidence except for the Bible, they'd say, "Well, this shows that there was no flood. Nobody else says anything about it."
This is a genuine question. I still don't understand how that would disprove it. I literally get, how you see those optical illusion things where you'll be like, okay, look at this, and it's like it looks like an old woman, and then you like look at another angle, and you're like, no, it's a young woman with a choker necklace.
How can you unsee it?
I can't unsee now. I'm like, now I can't go back to seeing what I saw before. Like I don't understand in what way could that be a problem if other writings show a narrative of
Well, the
flood.
The argument would be, well, the biblical flood has a lot of, just the first, especially Genesis 1 through 11, has a lot of similarities between ancient Near Eastern texts. So it's like Moses just plagiarized the A&E library, basically, and, copied and pasted them, and that's how you get Genesis. So that's their argument.
What's the problem with it? So you should go to the other text to get the more accurate story?
Those texts predate the Genesis account.
But those texts are still saying that there was a flood.
Yeah, sure. I'm not saying it's a good argument. I think it's a dumb argument.
But
I think it's a dumb argument, but that's just what
But there's a lot of people that say that. There must be some logical reason why they're saying something.
Well, they're saying... I think some of it has to do with the way that Christians portray it. It's like, this is the only story around. Most Christians don't understand that there was an ancient Near Eastern world and that
I was very surprised.
People were literate before the Hebrews and all this. Like most Christians don't know that. They think that, when they think that the book of Genesis was the first book written in the entire world.
I did. I used to, yeah.
So most Christians they're traumatized if you were to say,
is it Hammurabi's Code or something?
Yeah, Hammurabi's Code predates.
Somebody brought that up. I'm like, what?
Yeah, Hammurabi's Code predates the Ten Commandments. It's like basic stuff like that, and Christians are taught that it's almost like it's one of those things where it's like, from our worldview, Genesis recounts the beginning of history, but it wasn't the first book recorded in history.
Right.
And there were like tons.
Yeah, I know that now.
Literally tons and tons of ancient Near Eastern literature and there is There's a ton of similarities in the even in the genealogy in Genesis 5, which is getting really, really granular. But if you compare the genealogy in Genesis 5, and there's a king list, and there's 7 kings, and then Enoch is the 7th. There's a lot of if you were an ancient Near Eastern person, you'd be like, oh. And Moses is like doing some low-key dissing and low-key arguing and all this other stuff that's happening, especially in the first 11 chapters of Genesis. He was clearly very well read. And he's doing a lot of that shit on purpose to poke people in the eye. But, if most Christians are not taught about that stuff.
No, yeah.
Most Christians, it's like the minute you say that Moses was inspired by other writing, then that in their mind takes away from the concept that God inspired the Bible. It's kind of like Moses was in a cave by himself and he came out with Genesis. That's not what happened. There's a lot of things that happened. He grew up culturally. There's cultural narratives.
Yeah.
There's phenomenology about how he viewed the world in the first place, whether he thought it was, spherical or flat or whatever, and So the flood was a major, major, major story in the ancient Near East.
Yeah.
At all. But there's, it's interesting to me, all the misanthropic sort of strains that happen in metal, where like there is this sort of subculture of everybody should die.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it's strange to me.
Why?
Well,
I don't know why that's strange. Why would that be strange?
Well, it probably isn't. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'll have to think about that. It's strange to me, obviously, because I believe that human beings are valuable and redeemable.
Yeah.
But if I didn't believe human beings were valuable and redeemable, and metal kind of focuses on the dark side of human beings, then I guess.
Yeah, and I think that it comes out. A lot of it comes from like the person's own personal feelings, or like what was put on them from their childhood or from relationships and stuff. So it kind of all around it talks a lot. In my opinion, it talks a lot about like the terrible side of humans. And so from that comes their artistic expression of their music. And so a lot of it is negative about people. I mean, I haven't heard any of the songs where it was like some humans are awesome song, It's all like the terrible things. And that's the way they find that inspiration. Some people get inspiration by very, very like positive and beautiful things, and some people are inspired by that dark stuff, like terrible events and things, and that's how I think that they survive the things that happen to them. I think that's part of their copings,
Well, hating humankind.
Yeah, or like writing music about how terrible it was or how bad people are, and Yeah,
it is interesting because it's like, that is interesting because I can listen to a ton of negative music about how terrible human beings are, while at the same time I can kind of step out of it and say, whoa, these like this right here, like these guys are so fucking talented and they were so gifted.
Yeah, for sure.
And I can appreciate the genius of human ingenuity, and still say there's something redeemable about us. While I can kind of like live in both worlds simultaneously. But if you don't have that paradigm about human beings, that they're created in the image of God and that they're redeemable, and all you do is look at the negativity, then you're not gonna be able to see the contradiction that we all are. You only see like one thing, which is that we suck.
Right. And we do, but we don't only suck.
A dead issue, don't wrestle with it. Deaf ears are sleeping. Like, what's the dead issue? Human beings, I guess. You say like it's a dead issue, like it's done.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's already settled. Like there's no arguing about it anymore.
Yeah.
I think some people for me it was like the Holocaust, where like I always say that's the sort of the marker of my loss of innocence as a child, was the Holocaust, really.
Yeah.
And like that's when it's confirmed. Like humans are totally depraved. Like I didn't need Calvin or Luther
to tell you that.
To tell me that. And then on top of that, the most hurtful thing about the whole thing was the citizenry. That hurt a lot. It's like, man, this is your neighbor, and you let that shit happen to your neighbor. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. You participated in it? Like, okay.
Yeah.
So I think everybody kind of hits that point and it's always like a particularly sensitive kind of person that becomes misanthropic, like hating humanity. Like it's like I never really see like a hardened evil motherfucker. It's always a really sensitive person that says fuck humanity, everybody should die. It's not usually like a cold, calculating person that does it. It's usually
that's interesting. Yeah, you're right.
Which those are metalheads. Most metalheads are sensitive people. That's why they need that music as an outlet. But
whenever you talk about like having that moment where you were like, oh my gosh, like people are evil, like the Holocaust, and as that like stripping away your childhood or whatever, like whenever you explain that, I always am like, why did I not like? I don't feel like I had that moment, like. But then as just now, I was thinking, I think that's because I always thought that people were bad, but I didn't think Christians were, and I think I had that moment with the church, and that was my moment of like. That life-altering, you're not the same after you realize it, I remember, like, I would go, like, door to door talking to people and sharing the gospel and stuff like that, and people would say, it seemed like a lot of people, like, didn't necessarily have a huge problem, like, God necessarily, but the church had hurt them so much that they kind of felt like that was God, and so, like, a lot of them would be like, nah, I was hurt too much, like, the kids should go to church, but I'm not gonna go, people are full of, church is full of hypocrites and stuff, and, like, that kind of, like, came up a lot. But I think that was my moment, was realizing, wait, they're not perfect. The people that go to church, like Christians and stuff. Because I thought they were. I told you that. I thought that people kind of got to a point of perfection.
Talking about recently?
No.
Or was this like years ago?
No. Well, I think that I still keep hitting that point where I'll still like think, oh no, okay, well this group of people would never, and I think that I always have that like, and
That's so straight. Like I never thought that.
Yeah.
About the church ever.
Yeah, I always did.
Well, that's because my mom taught me that Christians took part in the Holocaust.
I didn't know Christians did. The only thing that I was told was that Christians didn't, and they housed people.
So I didn't
know that there was.
I was always like, yeah, right. I didn't believe anything.
And I didn't know that Christians had slaves either.
Well, I did.
Yeah. Anyway, wow.
Throughout the night, they were raped and executed. God Almighty.
I mean, who? Just other people?
Just all the shit that happens to people in the dark. Like we were watching that thing yesterday at Vice about the gangs in Guatemala and in just Central America.
Yeah.
And it's real evil shit, man.
Yeah. Sad.
It's really like, and you were talking about it like being a very beautiful woman, and what if you were in Guatemala and all that just shit?
People
like,
would go missing, and
people would just go missing.
Yeah.
There was one where somebody went missing, and then a mother and daughter went to go pay the ransom, and they went missing. It's like they're going to pay the ransom. What the fuck is your problem? And like it like puts you in a sort of. There was one that was really crazy, and it was like I completely understood the guy. Completely understood the guy at the very end.
Yeah.
Where he pulls out his 9mm.
Yeah.
He goes, I have these two things, and he pulls out his 9,
and his Bible.
And then he pulls out his Bible.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he talks about how he's killed 17 people, and he got a phone call, and the Vice guy is following him around.
Yeah.
And he's like, I gotta do something real quick. Do you want me to tell you what I'm about to do? And the Vice guy's like, of course, for sure. Mm-hmm. And then blah, blah, blah. And then he's waiting on the side street, and it's at night.
Did you hear what he was saying before the guy got there?
No, what is he saying?
He kept saying, he was saying the person's name, so let's say he was like...
Carlos or whatever.
Carlos. He's like, where's that bastard? Where's that bastard? He like was saying all these things that were like... and I think he was pumping himself to feel like he's a bad person, so I should do this.
Well, I mean, he was a bad person.
Yeah, but
he was part of the Maori gang or something like that. He's like, this is that Maori motherfucker, whatever. And sure enough, you see the guy walking, and then he turns to the camera guy. He goes, "Don't follow me." And they're shooting. It wasn't broad daylight. It was at night.
But there was lights.
But I mean, so the guy, and he turns the corner, and then you hear bang.
You see him take something out. You hear bang.
Yeah.
Cameraman runs down. The guy's on the ground.
And the guy's out. He's done.
Yep.
Dead. See it. Dead issue. Like, and he, I don't know if he was pumping himself up because he'd done it before. Like I've heard.
You don't think he was pumping himself up?
Nah. I talked to a guy that did work over there in Central America in the 80s.
Yeah? What did he say?
Oh, the things that those people do in those gangs,
Yeah.
like you lose any pity that you'd have for those people.
Really?
They just do a lot of evil shit to people. And so, like, I remember, like, I would sit with him. He was actually an ex-Navy SEAL, and they were on leave. They were in Central America because they were working with some people for some stuff, and they were supposed to go back home. And then on leave, they jumped on with the local police to go hunt these people. And he's like, and he he described in real vivid detail that. And I know when people, because I've been around people who've done stuff, and it's like, there's like this guilt, and there's this, like, it's usually like, especially like, you know, Iraq, for example, like the soldiers in Iraq, not the insurgency, but the soldiers in Iraq never wanted to fight. Mm-hmm. So it's like, guys feel bad about that and da-da-da-da, but this, like, so it's just different. I don't know, but
wow.
like
I thought he was probably pumping himself
he
up.
was like, it was obvious, like, he didn't care. And I know when dudes are trying to, like, act like they don't care when they really do.
Yeah.
He did not care. He really didn't. So, the shit that human beings do at nighttime sometimes is just, like, it's heartbreaking shit how much evil people are capable of.
Thanks.
And it's, only evil continually, is a word is a phrase used in Genesis.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like,
wow.
And he was kind of like supposed to, like, it was a weird situation because he was like supposed to mentor me and whatever, and he just came to this crazy conversation. I was like, okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, people always tell you stuff.
Yeah. I mean, he had great, he was a very good teacher. I mean, that's for sure. But, I mean, anyway.
Oh wow.
So I don't think that guy was.
I just realized who it is.
I don't think that guy was pumping himself up at all.
Wow.
I don't think he was pumping himself up at all. I think he was like itching to waste that guy.
Really?
Yeah.
He would make, like, from that one kill, he would make like a half a year's wages or something like that, right?
He got 2,000 euros for killing that guy.
They said it in amount of time that it would be like, I thought it was like half a year's wages.
Yeah, it was a half a year's wages. Yeah. Because he still lived in like a tin hut and all this shit. But he was, and it's crazy.
Why would he let them record him?
Well, that's the thing. Like, his face is on camera and all that.
I don't understand that.
Some people are not afraid of that stuff. It's like, okay.
He had a family.
I don't know. Or you know what? Maybe they told him they weren't going to record him, and then, I mean, who knows?
Come on, babe. They were going in there with the cameras.
Vice, man. Those guys are. That's true. They're probably like the last true journalistic outpost in the world. Vice.
Reason.
Yeah. I got a lot of respect for those guys. I'm surprised more of their folks aren't dead. Because they get in the middle of some really crazy shit.
I was surprised. Some of the stuff they were there, going into the people's houses and getting people arrested and gang members. I'm like, why would you? I'm surprised. Like, but I guess that does seem like true journalism.
The stuff that human beings do in the dark is it's some disheartening shit. And if you don't have something to like center you, it'll turn you into a crazy. But then at the same time, it's like all the misanthropic people, they always say like, oh, people need to die. It's never like I need to die. It's like, who the fuck are you? Right? You get to determine who lives or dies. Same thing with me. Same with the other guy. Same with the name. Like, who determines that? Like, oh, that like all of us do evil shit. So who are you to say that guy needs to die? Like, I'm saying this like as an objective accuser, but I've had the same mentality.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if you think, I mean, I can't speak for anybody else, but if you think about, like, the worst things that you ever did, and, like, if those things were put on blast out in the streets, like, there's some things that are just so damn evil that everybody would want to kill, and other things that people would be like, well, you shouldn't do that, but, like, there's some stuff that's like, okay, that you crossed the line there. Mm-hmm. I think that there's stuff that's...
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely stuff where people react that way. It's just, that's why you're supposed to leave judgment to God. And everybody's good with me saying that, but if I describe certain things that I've seen from people,
Yeah.
the whole leave judgment with God thing would go out the window, guaranteed. 90% of people
well, yeah.
That's come. Whatever happened to that
bullet,
guy,
yeah,
fuck that guy.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, it's a lot of that in this song. There's not a lot of, there's nothing really redemptive about the song at all.
Mm-hmm.
What other than the fact that these boys are so fucking gifted?
They're unbelievable.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing.
I have
like,
to give them a 10 just on talent.
the very
Unbelievable.
the very ability to do this shows that the flood shouldn't happen and kill us all. Mm-hmm. Just the fact that you can manipulate strings to do that, and vibration and all the different like, think about all the different like
sounds
and technologies
Yeah.
that had to happen with amplification and recording and this string and that string and this type of device and all that to get here. Not just these guys' talent, but the inventions that made it so that we could hear it on record.
Yeah.
And then all the internet so that we could hear it here
Yeah.
and communicate it. Like, all those things to me say, no, man is redeemable. You know what I mean? So like, even in the midst of it, like, if you step outside of the thing and look at it and
Yeah.
say, you're able to do this, it means human beings are redeemable.
Yeah.
That there's worth and value in human beings, and that there's a lot of shit that needs to be squared, and justice, a hammer of justice that needs to happen. You know, and it says, you know, a soldier does not bear the sword in vain. He's God's servant to dispense justice to the wrongdoer.
Jason, when you say that verse,
Huh?
you could do one of those Bible reading things where you read it, because when you read that part, I'm like, ugh.
Yes, it's like, we don't need a flood. We just need a cop. But yeah, I mean, that guy, you know, he's the Punisher. And that dude was just walking. He had no idea what hit him. None. He was just walking down the street and then boop, done. You probably didn't even hear it. Crazy.
Some people might be upset about that. If he did horrible things to other people, he got off easy like that.
Well, if he did horrible things to other people, he went face to face with his maker with no warning. It's not a good place to be.
No.
Not a good place to be.
Nope.
All right. Anyway.
What do you give this song?
What's the moral of the story? Love your neighbor as yourself. That way some crazy dude in Central America doesn't take you out randomly. What do you give the song?
Oh, a 10.
This song was very, very hard for me to listen to, man.
Oh, yeah.
But like I said, like, I'm not going to feel sorry for him. I'm not going to feel bad about him. You know, it's like, hey, they got to... I mean, I think if you'd have sat those boys down and said, look, boys, here's the deal. You're not going to live to 40. You're not going to live past 50. But you're going to live on 10 for as long as you live. Or you can live to 70 and live on 4 and never achieve what you were born to do. Because it's obviously what these boys were born to do. I think both of them would have said, we'll take A and not B 10 times out of 10. So in that sense, you gotta, you know, you just gotta take it for what it is and you know, be grateful to God that He gave them that time, you know?
It's interesting because we just, for our underground show yesterday, we did the Faith No More.
Yeah.
Is that what it was? The name of it?
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, like, you know, when stuff is in the past, you know, those memories there, and you just have to appreciate them for what they are and move forward and look for the new ones tomorrow. You're like, maybe there's something wrong with me. Well, because you're able to do that. And I'm like, no, it makes me sad. Like, memories are gone. Like, things are gone. You can't relive those moments. Well, I think that this is where it's coming out for you. Like, you know, this makes you sad.
Well, the fact that he was gunned down on stage in front of his brother, yeah, it makes me sad.
But you didn't even know him personally.
No. I don't have to know a person personally to feel bad.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like, so somebody dies in my life and I don't see them, my meme, I don't see her anymore, whatever, that's like French for grandmother. And then like those memories make me sad. Like I can never go to her house and just like have those moments and stuff.
You
Those are
think there's
gone.
something different from like dying of like natural causes versus dying like at the peak of your you know, like
Yeah,
Ronnie James Dio, he died. I don't feel bad for him. I mean, he was in his like 60s.
Okay, so the only difference with this is that he died young and he was gunned down.
He was gunned down in front of his brother on stage. Like it's not like that's not natural cycle of life.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like that's something completely different.
So it's not the memory. So when you hear it, you think about his death, and that's what bothers you.
It's just he got cut down in the midst of like there's still a lot more he could have gave us. Yeah. It's not like he had his entire life's catalog there. It was taken from him.
Right.
That's the problem. It's like if LeBron James had like a compound fracture in the second year he was playing, and basketball was taken from him, and you knew that
was like his thing.
This is somebody special that was gonna. That's
okay.
What's sad.
All right, I see what you're saying. I guess that's different. All right, I'll give you a pass.
Well, no, I mean it's and it's strange to me that
it doesn't affect me like that.
Yeah, it's weird.
No, because it's already done. Like I can't like.
See, I remember when this happened.
Yeah, I don't.
That's
I don't know any. These people it already happened. So to me, like
I think if something would happen to some of the people that we talk to now,
then that would bother me.
Regularly, you'd probably fuck with them.
Then that would bother me, right? But these people, I didn't even know they existed. The minute I found out they existed, I knew they didn't exist anymore on this earth.
Right.
So it doesn't affect me the same way.
Right.
Now, if I think about family members that are still being affected by it, that's different to me.
But even the person I was with before, like they knew all this stuff, and it just didn't affect them like that.
I think it's a special case, honey. I don't think it's.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah. I still don't think it would affect you the same way that.
No, it wouldn't affect me the same way. Or stuff will ruin your day. And like I remember you saying before that that like your ex would basically say something like, "Oh, great, now your day's gonna be ruined because you found out something."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Wow!" When I heard that she said that,
I experienced that a couple days ago.
Now,
I knew exactly what was going through your mind.
I'm like. Something came up, I'm like, there it goes. But you know what? There's literally every day there's some horrible event that takes place. And like I see all the messages coming in from everybody warning us, telling us, I'm like, there goes the day.
I knew exactly what you were thinking in that moment. I was like, man. I was like, all right, well. Nobody knows but me and God. What are you going to do? All right, what do you give it?
I already gave it a 10.
Probably would have given it a 10 if I don't really trust my emotions about it, because I didn't really like the experimental stuff they were doing with the verse stuff. I like the lyrics, but I didn't like what they were. Although like I kind of understood what they were trying to accomplish, I think, but I'm gonna give it a 9.5. I feel like the verse stuff took away from it.
What do you mean the verse stuff? I don't even understand what you mean.
The vocals in the verse, like a dead issue, and it was kind of like they were experimenting. It was all experimental.
Oh.
Like the language unheard and all that stuff. Like it was all experimental.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
It's a 9.5 for me. It's 10 for you. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.